don't think that was our best effort, gentlemen. But
we said
it's
we're
Monday.
we woke up saying we're refreshed, and then we did not give a great bendy. As you know, we got to give a bendy every once in a while, right, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta love the bendy. The bendy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Blue Review. Myself, my name is Parker Bell, alongside Corporate Greg, Marcus Grant, and we're just going to hop straight to this. We have a very special guest, a very fun episode today for you. The legendary LA organist, of course, of the Kings and your Dodgers, where we talk Dodgers baseball every morning, 8:30, 8:55. Dieter Ruehle. Dieter, welcome on. How are you doing this Monday morning?
Hey, I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, Greg, I know that you wanted to spend this episode, of course, going to get right into it, celebrating the legendary life of our dear friend who we just lost. Greg, why don't you kind of take on over here, and we'll get right into this, and then we're going to talk a lot about everything.
Well, thank you again very much for coming on, Dieter. Really excited to have you on, because this is something that, Nancy B. Hefley was a huge part of Dodger fans' lives, and mine very much growing up. I think she started in sometime in the 80s, like 85, 86, somewhere around there.
80.
And was it?
1988.
1988. So that was basically my formidable years as a Dodger fan, especially at 41. So you've taken over for it. How long have you been doing this, and how long have you been with the Kings as well?
I started Dodgers on the Oregon in 2016. So it's my 10th year. I started the same year as Dave Roberts.
So you're part of that. That's great.
Yeah, we're both in our 10th year. And at Kings, I started in 1989. So I was away for a few years in the mid-90s, came back. I've been back since 98 at the Kings.
How did you land these jobs? Certainly, I would guess the Dodgers sort of blossomed from the Kings job, but how did you land originally with the Kings?
Well, with the Kings, I kind of got my foot in the door with the LA Lasers, the indoor soccer team, in 1984, working for the Bus family. And then I was hooked. I was just like writing letters every summer if there were any openings. And then the Kings had new ownership in 88. They got Wayne Gretzky. They changed organist, but it wasn't me. It was somebody else. But he only lasted 1 year. And then they hired me to start Gretzky's second year in 89.
Oh, wow. So how long did you know Nancy B. Hefley for a long time? Did she influence you in any way?
Yeah, so I actually worked with Nancy for 5 years before I got the organist job at the Dodgers. I was actually DJing side by side with her at Dodger Stadium. I had two stints there, 99, 2000, and then 07, 08, 09. So like during the Manny Wood years and all that. And so we worked side by side. And then in 2013, the Dodgers called and they were like, she's going to miss some games. Can you fill in on the organ? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I filled in for her off and on 2013, 2014, and then 2015, which was her final season. And she retired after the 2015 season. That was her 28th year at the Dodgers.
Now, so Dieter, I was just curious, on the background and becoming an organist in sports. Where did that love for sports come from? Was it always there? Was it something, like you said, you may have just fell into? But it seems like you're a massive sports fan. So I'm curious where that background came from.
Yeah, no, when I was a kid, I was just a huge sports fan. And I was taking piano lessons. And so for whatever reason, whenever I'd go to a game, the organ really stood out to me. I think maybe more than most kids. And in those days, it was all organ in the 70s and the 80s. And not just watching games in person, but watching the games on TV. I'd hear it in the background. Like if say, the Lakers were in Milwaukee, I'd hear the Milwaukee Bucks organist. Or if the Dodgers were in St. Louis or in Pittsburgh, it really stood out to me. And I got a taste of it the day after I turned 12. It was like a sports fantasy thing for Channel 7. I wrote them a letter. I would love to play the organ at game. It was during hockey season, so it was, Kings, and they were like, oh yeah, let's do that. And so I got to play part of a Kings game the day after I turned 12, and I was hooked. And I just started writing letters. I just wanted to do this, and I didn't know what it would turn into, but I just knew I have a love for sports and for music.
Dieter, there aren't many organists left across Major League Baseball. It's a thing that's sort of dying out. Is there like is there like a fraternity, a brotherhood of sorts amongst organists? Because you guys are sort of sadly going away.
Yeah, I think in baseball, there's about half the teams still have an organist. Unfortunately, yeah, it's kind of, a lot of teams have gone automated, a lot of recordings now, because you could just click a button, and do the organ stuff. But I think what you lose is the spontaneity and the vibe, the feel of a person. And but yeah, no, there's a group on Twitter. I've talked to several organists. But yeah, I mean, it's still there. I mean, like when I started, it was all organ. When Nancy B started, it was all organ and public address announcer. There were no hosts or dance cams or any of that stuff. It's all evolved, like when I started at the Forum in '89, we didn't even have a video board. It was just announcements and organ. That was it. And then recorded music found its way, and now DJing is a big thing. But yet, I think it's important to like evolve without, losing the other. Like a few years ago when the Dodgers got Max Scherzer, right? It's like, we're not going to take away Kershaw. We just add to what we have. And I think the teams that have kept the organ realize that, and it seems to still have a positive impact. It's like when you go to a college basketball or college football game, like you're going to hear the SC band. Sure, you're going to have videos now, and you're going to have DJ tracks, but you still have the band. I think it's synonymous with the feel that we have at those stadiums.
Yeah. So you're talking about that spontaneity of it all, and I think that I'm not sure if she was the first, but I know that Nancy B was one of the maybe pioneers of like going off of field, like playing things based on what she saw on the field. I know you do something. It's my favorite thing is when it's a 1 and 2 count with 1 out. You play Eye to Eye from the Goofy movie, and that was a huge part of my childhood. So I get really excited every time I hear that. Did you learn that from Nancy? Was that something, or talk a little about her a little bit?
Well, Greg, first of all, thank you for noticing. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just started doing that last year. Occasionally, like through Twitter, somebody will tweet out an idea to me, and this was actually, I forgot where this idea came from, but because the eye to eye looks like 1 2 1 if you look at the scoreboard, so that's why I do it.
I love it every time.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, I was going to ask me along those lines, because you do have a lot of those little things, like whenever it's a football type score, right? If it's 7-3 or even 3-0, you'll play the Monday Night Football theme, sort of thing. Do you have, how much time do you spend kind of coming up with these, or are these just, spur of the moment sort of ideas for you?
A lot of them just like pop into my head, like the 7 to me was obvious. So that's like a football score. I'll do like Hawaii 5-0 if the score is like 5-0, 5-0. I just try to have fun with it. And if it goes over their head, fine. But if they catch it, hopefully, they get a chuckle out of it. And then,
there's Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Parker.
Okay. If we're talking about our favorites that Dieter does, a reoccurring thing that I'm such a huge fan of when we're doing the introductions, when you guys are doing the introductions, and the opposing team comes on, and I'm hearing Depeche Mode, "It's No Good."
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands of all time, and Dieter, you just absolutely kill it.
Thank you.
I'm curious, like, where the musical influence, like, what was your favorite kind of music growing up, and bringing all that into baseball, like, was that? I'm sure that's just so exciting, being able to bring your childhood favorites or your life favorites.
No, I realize I'm very fortunate, and you mentioned Depeche Mode. They're definitely a favorite of mine. But in order to do my job, it's not about just playing my favorites. So I try to expose myself to whatever, all the music that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And just if I can fit it in with a little subtlety here and there, then I'll do it. And Nancy was good at that. I think she's really perhaps best known for Master of the House, when Oral Hershiser would pitch, because he was the master of the house and so dominant, in the late 80s, early 90s. I just try to like carry that on.
Yeah, there's one thing that Travis Rogers works here, and he is going to be in the show after this with Travis and DeMarco. But he was telling me that his favorite is Down the Line, and I didn't know that. So like, what is your favorite of all of them that you do? Is it Down the Line? Or like, is it okay if it goes over people's heads?
Yeah, no, it's totally okay if it goes over people's heads. Then I'm amusing myself, and I'm glad he noticed Down the Line. That's like an older one from the 70s, like before my time. But the thing is, music, I don't think music ever expires. Like you can hear music from the 60s, from the 50s, and it might still work today, like, and so I don't know if I have a favorite, although I'm really enjoying the Eye to Eye that you mentioned.
So good.
Yeah, a lot of people really know the Goofy movie. I was kind of surprised at that.
Oh yeah.
Well,
like that was.
I would say though, with 56,000 people in the ballpark and like 3 million that come over the course of the year, I'm guessing somebody is going to recognize a little bit of something of everything you play. Like I can't imagine it goes over everybody's heads. But I want to ask, because here you are. I mean, you have a job to do. You are playing the organ at some of the most pressure-packed, exciting times in the ballpark, in the ball game. I would guess you understand and the impact you have over sort of the emotion. You are kind of the soundtrack. What's that like?
It can be stressful because I need to focus and pay attention, because things can happen really quickly. Like all of a sudden there's a double play, boom, and I'm hitting the track, like It Takes Two, or Love Me Sometimes, or I gotta be ready when it's like there's a 2-strike count on the visiting team. I do the Beethoven's Fifth on the organ, dun 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 dun.
Mm-hmm.
I do that, so it's a lot of fun. It's stressful too, because like I said, you got to focus, and the inning breaks are short. So if you need to make a run to the restroom, you quit. Oh, you got 2 minutes. Run. Be right back. You gotta make sure, okay, there's a video playing so I can go. Yeah.
Right. So I want. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just So back to Nancy and what you got to learn from her during those stints, Dieter. What was really the biggest takeaway in those intricacy moments? Excuse me, when you have such a pressure moment, what were you able to kind of learn from her, because she was in literally the best moments of baseball, really, if you look at her entirety of her career.
Yeah. No, I mean, the one thing that really stands out to me, first of all, when I walk into the stadium, when I sit down at the organ that she played, it's a presence I've felt from day one. I feel it every game. And she gave me all sorts of advice, but the one piece of advice was like, don't think. Like it should just flow. Like if you start to think, you overthink it, then I'm like, oh, is this going to be an F or a C? And it's like, then I'll mess up. But her advice about, just don't think, just do what comes naturally. That's the one thing that really stands out from Nancy B. Something that she told me that I try to do. Just don't think, just do it. Like if you're a batter, you don't want to just like overthink, or if you're a pitcher, whatever you do, whatever your profession is, it should just come from your preparation, and you just feel it and you go.
Yeah, I was wondering. So, like, you're talking about Nancy B. A lot of people just know her. She's the organist, and they say, "Oh, she was the organist, and now Dieter Ruehle, you're the organist." What are some things that people don't know about her? Do you have any stories about her as a person? Like, what kind of person she was?
Yeah, no, she would sew. Like she would knit sometimes during periods when she knew she wasn't going to play, and she was really good at it. Yeah, and she really enjoyed the social part of being in the press box at Dodger Stadium. People would come by, writers would come by, and she was very cordial to everyone. And she had a long commute. During her final years, she actually lived up near Reno, Nevada. And so her and her husband drive down for a homestand down to 395. And she'd stay here in LA, and then homestand is over. They'd get back in their VW bug and head back up north. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, look, Dieter, obviously you work for the Dodgers. You're in the ballpark every day. But as you mentioned, I mean, you are an LA native. You have been a Dodger fan for a long time. I mean, tell us, like, what are your favorite moments in Dodger history? Who are the guys that you most remember that you sort of gravitated toward as a fan?
Thanks for asking. Like when I was a kid, I grew up with Garvey Lopes, Russell and Say, Dusty Baker, Reggie Smith, Rick Monday. And I got older in high school in the 80s. I go to games. I go early for batting practice. And I'd sit out in the left field pavilion, bring my glove with some buddies. And over, I don't know, a few years, I caught a few home runs during batting practice, never during a game. But it was such a thrill. It was always fun to go. And then when I was sitting in left field, our PA system has a big stack of speakers in center field. So sitting in the pavilion, I was so close to hearing the organ, And so, but now it's like, now I'm working for the team, and like I mentioned Rick Monday, like I see him in the press box, often. I see Oral, and it's like, wow, this is cool. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, Dieter. I mean, we can touch on it briefly because we talk Dodgers here on the podcast, but the difference in doing a Dodgers game, a Kings game, any of the other sports you've touched on. I mean, what do you feel is the most difficult, kind of having to weave between two different sports, especially with the fast-paced environment of hockey?
Yeah. People say that baseball's slow, but it like I said, things can happen quickly too in baseball. So in hockey, I mean, basically one's cold, one's warm. It's like winter, summer. Got the fan on blast during Dodgers or in the hot summer days, summer nights. Whereas at Kings games, they keep the arena so cold. I've got like hand warmers, keep my fingers warm. But then just the games are different, and I just have to focus and pay attention. And like when the Kings score a goal, I got to hit the goal horn, so I'm like focused all the time. But I love them both,
So
yeah.
So who are you listening to now? Like what? I mean, I know you mentioned that you have to listen to a wide variety of music, but like when you're in your car, you're just at home. Like what does Dieter Ruehle listen to?
Gee, oh man, I've got such a crazy playlist in the Forerunner. I've got Depeche Mode, I have Van Halen. It's crazy because recently with Ice Cube. Being at Dodger Stadium, right? I back in the 90s, I never thought to learn It Was a Good Day. And I just recently learned that last week. But of course, Kendrick, I've been playing Not Like Us.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing a lot of Chappell Roan lately, especially after I saw her on SNL and then at the Grammys. I really like her music, Dua Lipa. And then, of course, the oldies that don't expire too. So I try to play a variety of stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Dodgers. Obviously, you're a big Dodger fan. You sit there and you watch every single game. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about this team? They're obviously they have an amazing pitching staff and an incredible lineup. What are you expecting out of this team this year?
I think it looks pretty good to go like 162-0.
Right. I mean, they're 5-0 right now. We're right there.
All right. Yeah. But no, I mean, they look incredible. I mean, I've been fortunate to like when I started with the Kings, watching Wayne Gretzky, night after night, and now watching Shohei Ohtani. It's just really pretty remarkable what he does. And the Dodgers bullpen's looking pretty solid. And I like our chances, Of course, you never know. You don't want to get hit with injuries or anything, but it's a long season. But I like the Dodgers' chances to just keep it going. And if we don't repeat, it's going to be 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. They're really a really good team.
I absolutely love that take. And it just made me think of this. I'm surprised we haven't asked it yet. How often do you get input from the players when it comes to, what tunes you play?
Not that often. Usually their walk-up songs are played by DJ Severe. And I'm doing more like the in-game quick stuff like, Unbelievable or the double plays or stuff like that. But I did back when Justin Turner was here, I got some feedback from him. He wanted me to play, what was it? For Tony Gonsolin, like that meow, 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 meow. Tony Gonsolin, Catman.
Yeah, Catman, that's right.
Yeah.
No, very cool. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I just you add so much to the broadcast, or even just the experience. The best thing about the broadcast is that we can hear all of these things that are happening on. Like, how often do you talk to Joe and Oral, because they mention what you're doing quite often? They're listening, they're paying attention.
I wouldn't say it's every day, but maybe several times a homestand, just in passing, because we're not that far from each other. I know I saw Oral the other day. I'll probably see those guys tonight. Rick Monday, like I mentioned, Tim Neverett, Steven Nelson, down to earth guys, by the way. And then, yeah, I mean, it just varies, but they're super kind to mention me. I never ask for it, but especially Oral, he just brings me up. I'm like, wow,
all the time.
The thing is, with our sound system, I think to me, from what I've heard, it's the best in baseball, because it's big and it's booming and it's very clear on the radio or on TV. A lot of stadiums have like smaller distributed speakers instead of one big cluster, and I think our stadium, at Dodger Stadium, just gives the sound, just a big booming sound that comes through really, really well on TV.
So, how often do you get to be a fan? I mean, obviously you're working 81 home games plus playoffs. Do you ever just get to be a fan at any point?
I mean, like every day I'm there, I'm a fan. Like, we hit a home run, I'm cheering. Like, yes. And if we don't do well, it's like, oh. I'm just a big fan up there, and I can make a lot of noise with my fingertips, and so yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I want to see the guys do well, and when they don't, it doesn't feel good. But they'll be back the next day. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
And I just wanted to say, again, Dieter, thank you for being here with us. And honestly, on behalf of just all Dodgers fans, I'm looking at the chat here. We thank you, because as Greg has mentioned, as Marcus has mentioned, the environment that you bring to Dodger games. I was there just the other night with Mookie's walk-off, and I mean, everything just around the stadium was so good, and you add to that.
First of all, thank you to the fans. And I learned this back in the COVID time in 2020, when we played without fans, and then we started getting cardboard cutouts. But what I'm always going to remember is that without the fans, it's just lacking. That's, the fans bring so much. I'm just one of them, really, and maybe I'll unite them in certain moments. But we're all having fun cheering for the Dodgers, and but the fans just make it. I think even Vince Scully had mentioned that. The roar of the crowd. It really is something else. Like, just the other day, was it, I forget, opening day or on Friday, when Freddie Freeman hit the home run, his first pitch. It was the first pitch, fifth or sixth inning. I think it was on Friday night. I couldn't believe, like, we were literally shaking. Yep. We're located right like under the reserve level, and we were just like which happened during his World Series home run.
Yeah, and the Freddie chants
year round, but that wouldn't happen without the energy of the fans. And I really appreciate the fans. They've been pretty nice to me over the years, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, fans.
No, I mean, you're as much as a star as anybody in that place, because it really makes the entire broadcast, the way you're saying it, that we can hear it through. I mean, hearing Eye to High or Down the Line or It Takes Two or any of those things, it enhances the broadcast. So we really do appreciate you, and thank you so much for coming on today with us, Dieter. It was really great to have you on.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for noticing all those things, and thanks for having me.
Of course. And maybe we'll have you again sometime this season. We'd love to just chat and talk more Dodgers.
Yeah,
of course. The legendary Dieter Ruehle. Thank you. Thank you to our sponsors, LAX, of course, for allowing this episode and all episodes of the Blue Review, 8:30 to 8:55 every morning. On behalf of Marcus Grant, Corporate Greg, our dear friend Dieter Ruehle, rest in peace to the legendary Nancy B. Hefley. Thank you so much for all she did. Thank you for being in the chat. We will be back tomorrow, but of course, go Dodgers. They got tonight, the Braves, Glasnow. So we'll be reacting tomorrow with Clint Macias and Alana Rizzo. Greg, if you got one last word, send us out, and I'll get that song.
Yeah, but thank you everyone for being on. Marcus, as always, Parker, Dieter, it was really, really great having you on, and hopefully we can do it again. And thank you everybody else in the chat, and we'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 to 8:55 on the ESPN YouTube page, and let's keep going at it. Make it 6-0 tonight, baby.
Let's go.
Go Dodgers.